You're listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by. On the morning shift.
Anything
could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
All right, and good morning. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I'm AJ Walsh. Happy Wednesday, hump day, if you work a 9 to 5 or work Monday to Friday. It's Wednesday, and happy to be here with you. I'm glad that you are here with us. Hopefully you are off to a good start in your day, or if you've worked a night shift and you're catching us, hopefully you've had a good day and you're glad that the day is behind you. Either way, thanks for being with us. It's going to be a great show today. We are live on CKLU 96.7 FM. We are also streaming at cklu.ca. You can just click on the Radio Player Canada app logo. You can stream us. You can also download that same app, the Radio Player Canada app. You can listen to us anywhere, anytime on your favorite device. And we're also streaming live streaming, video stream on Facebook.com/Sudbury News, YouTube.com/Sudbury News. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, follow. Mainly comment, because this is your show on your station. However, you can't comment through the radio, so the best way to do that is through Facebook and YouTube. We'll do our best to get it up on the screen. We'll also do our best to read them, so that way people on the radio can hear your comments as well, and just provide a larger discussion with as many people as possible. That's the reason for sharing, and we'd like to also thank the Facebook moderators, YouTube moderators. They have a job to do to make sure that the shows and the content on their platforms are adhering to their community standards. And so it's not an easy job. And so my hat is off to you. As you can see, I'm not wearing a hat. It's off to you for the job that you do. And it's not easy. So I thank you not only for the job you do, but the platforms that allow us to be able to bring you the show in so many ways and be able to have a community conversation. So that way people feel heard, they feel connected, and they're able to get together every morning as we do. We have our regular morning people on, and we also have new people joining us from around the world. It's interesting how I look at the statistics after the show every day, and there's so many new countries, people all over the world. I know Philippines, all across Europe, Norway, United States, especially lots from the United States, lots from all the provinces across Canada, you name it. I don't know if I throughout the show's tenure of this, it'll be a year this month. This month will be 1 year of Sudbury News Talk. The former being Sudbury Sports Talk started in 2017, but it's been a year of Sudbury News Talk. And the people that are joining us from Sudbury, Monique, pretty much every morning. Good morning, Monique. Thanks for being with us. Judy as well. Good morning. And also good morning, Denise. Says she loves the show, and thank you very much. Love that you're on the show, and really, I love that we can have this show. If I wasn't hosting it, I'd be participating, because it's I do feel strongly of the community I belong to, and I think it's important that we all get involved. And this is one way we can get involved, make our voices heard to some extent, and be able to share our ideas and our opinions, and then also be informed, hopefully, and entertained a little bit, I would hope. But with that, let's just get on with the show. We have Pierre Benum joining us, comes from a very prestigious, if you will, a very accomplished family, the Benums here in town. Father was a real estate agent, well-known one in town. Brother plays in the band, the Beach Boys. Yes, the real Beach Boys. He's the keyboard player. Another brother played guitar for Dwight Yoakam and many other popular artist over the years, teaches at an accomplished guitar school in California. Another brother is, I can go on and on about the brothers, and I don't want to leave anyone out because I met everyone in his family I've met. They're salt of the earth people. But yes, so and OHL scout, he's the that's another brother. So he's the uncle, Pierre is the uncle of Tessa Benham, TSN sports personality, along with Olympic gold medalist for Team Canada's hockey. So Pierre will be joining us at about 7:45. We will be talking about today the top headline on Sudbury.com about the 15-minute city many of you have brought up on this show. And so Sudbury.com has an article. We'll talk about it. Pierre was already here to talk about that very subject today, but Sudbury.com came out with that article last night, which makes it very timely. Talk about the new Junction East, the downsizing of that, and what some possibilities could be. The city is looking at no longer plowing sidewalks. Give me a break. Anyways, so there's that. The Renee Sweeney case. Lots to talk about this morning. Lots to unpack. But first, we'll get started with the weather. We'll have a little bit of sports. We'll be back with Pierre Benham and headlines after all of that. Stay with us. As always, your Sudbury weather brought to you by sudburyweather.ca. You can check out that. It lands on our sudbury.news website, and that's our link to everything Sudbury weather, and it's a work in progress. If you have any suggestions for the website, feel free. You can just email us. There's contact information on the website, or you can email us at sudburynews@gmail.com. Message us as well. Many of you are messaging us, and I appreciate that. And we will be sharing one of the videos later from one of the videos that was sent to us by one of our viewers, listeners, Vin. So, and that goes along with our main deep dive topic today. But starting with the weather and talking about deep dive, there's a fog advisory. Still, it's -6 degrees, feels like -9, but the fog advisory here in the greater city of Sudbury. Visibility is near zero in dense fog early this morning, and the dense fog continues early this morning, is expected to dissipate after sunrise, so anytime now. Visibility may be significantly and suddenly reduced to near zero. If traveling, be prepared for areas of near zero visibility. Fog advisories are issued when near zero visibility in fog are expected or occurring. Please continue to monitor alerts and forecasts issued by Environment Canada. To report severe weather, go to onstorm@ec.gc.ca or tweet reports to #onstorm. There you go. So continuing with today, mainly cloudy, fog patches dissipating in the morning. We just talked about that. Wind chill near -8 in the morning. But tonight, partly cloudy. 30% chance of flurries again, changing to 70% chance of flurries near midnight. So we more than likely will be getting some snow overnight. Wind will be coming from the northeast 20 kilometers before the morning. Low -3, so it'll be mild. Wind chill -9 overnight. Thursday, cloudy with a 70% chance of flurries. Wind will be from the north 20 kilometers near zero. Wind chill near -9 in the morning. Thursday, we already talked about. 0 is the high, 70% chance of flurries. Friday, sunny, and high of -2. Very, very nice. For this beginning of March, it's March the 1st today. Can't believe it already. It's the month of spring. It's been a weird winter, as far as I'm concerned. We never, even though it was mild, we kind of never got out of the messiness aspect of, it was very, very kind of a very messy winter from Christmas on kind of thing. Got lucky before that. So Saturday, sorry to digress, Saturday, 40% chance of flurries, high of -2. Sunday, mix of sun and cloud, high of -1. Monday, high of +1, sorry. High of +1 also on Monday, mix of sun and cloud, and then high of -1 on Thursday. So look at this. Everywhere from Thursday, tomorrow, to next Tuesday, the forecast is -2 to +2. Very mild. And only chance of flurries was forecast as tomorrow and Saturday. So other than that, looks like some pretty nice weather. So get out and enjoy it if you can. Here's a look at your satellite view over northern Ontario. I'm not sure what happened there, so we'll just refresh the page and see what happens. Yes, Environment Canada's satellite view. That was last night, and then today. So as you can see, we're going to be getting some clearing. That overcast will be heading on over to Quebec, and we'll get some nice sunny periods Friday, and then onwards after that. So that's your weather, brought to you by SudburyWeather.ca. For all things Sudbury weather, visit SudburyWeather.ca. We'll be back with some sports and headlines with Pierre Bonhomme right after this. Sudbury Sports, brought to you by that Sudbury Sports guy who is Randy Pascal. He has a website. It's called sudburysports.com, and he reports sports. He reports sports like nobody's business here in the city. He's been doing it like it seems like forever. Visit sudburysports.com for all your Sudbury sports. Speaking of sports, the Five tonight in action at the Sudbury Arena. They'll be facing their very tough opponent, the London Lightning. Have a tough time with this team all the time. The tip-off will be 7 p.m. Tonight's game sponsored by Mucho Burrito. Fans also encouraged to visit the Mucho Burrito Taco Bar next to the courtside concessions for $6 chicken and pork tacos. They'll be available. It's also the Five's beach party night. So speaking of the Beach Boys and Pierre Bonhomme's brother, maybe they'll play a few Beach Boys songs. I'm sure they will. You can wear your, fans are encouraged to dress in beach wear. And, it won't be so cold. So, it's not like it's going to be -40 or something like that, like it has been. So you're encouraged to wear beach wear. Maybe just wear something over top of it, and then you can just have your beach wear underneath whatever you're wearing. I don't think they're encouraging Speedos. It doesn't say here no Speedos, but I'm pretty sure they're going to frown on that. But you get a chance to win great prizes and more. Special beach style cocktails will also be sold at courtside bar. Non-alcoholic and alcoholic drinks will be available. Sounds like it's going to be a great time tonight. Again, it's just me saying this, but it doesn't say this in the press release, but I discourage the wearing of Speedos. Other than that, all other beach wear is welcome. And in other sports, Sudbury Wolves will also be in action tonight. They'll be facing the North Bay Battalion in North Bay. And you can catch that game right here on CKLU 96.7 FM, along with, I believe, Eastlink could be covering the game, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But I definitely know Joe Bowen more than likely will have David Bowen, Joe Bowen's son, will have the call right here on CKLU 96.7 FM. So tonight they're facing the Battalion, but then on Friday in town they'll be facing the Oshawa Generals, and then the Niagara Ice Dogs will be in town on Saturday. Friday's game, sponsored by Real Canadian Superstore. The Wolves will be wearing special, this is cool, fan-designed jersey for Friday's game that will be auctioned off with 100% of the proceeds going towards the President's Choice Children's Charity, and the jerseys will be available for purchase through the online auction. You go to the Sudbury Wolves website, you can find a way to click on that not a problem. Saturday's game is sponsored by Tim Hortons and is also Sudbury Saturday night. Tim Hortons will be on hand with prizes and giveaways for fans. And one lucky fan will win free coffee for a year. And they'll never sleep. I just added that in. It doesn't say that. But to help celebrate Sudbury Saturday night, a Sudbury staple, porchetta sliders will be available for sale from the Beef and Bird. I love what the Sudbury 5 and Sudbury Wolves are doing with the arena, with making these games just into an event. It's really cool. The theme nights, you got the you can wear certain things. The jerseys are different. They have sponsors that bring their food based on the theme. It's all coincides. It all jives together. It's perfect. It's very good marketing, by the way. And so get out there, support the Wolves, have a great time. It's a cheap night out too, because I know Sudbury people are very price conscious, and that's your Sudbury Sports, brought to you by that Sudbury Sports guy, Randy Pascal, and his website, SudburySports.com. We'll be back with headlines and Pierre Bonhomme right after this. And before we get to Pierre, who is on, and I did definitely heard his mic, Cliff is saying fog is freezing to my windshield this morning. Oh, that's not good. And that's Cliff, sorry. And that's Jennifer giving us a shout out. Good morning. Love all the emoji icon-y things after that. Always do. Thank you, Jennifer, for being on. David, good morning. Stay safe as usual. And Vin is with us, who did share a video that hopefully we'll get a chance. Well, we will get a chance to play, because we're going to be talking about this subject that everyone in Sudbury seems to be talking about for some strange reason. And actually, it's kind of interesting what's happening. So good morning, Vin, and good morning, Jason. So I was letting everyone know, Pierre, that the idea of this 15-minute city, the smart cities, it's really kind of blown up. And it's been a real kind of interest. You hear all these theories throughout the years, and, certain circles are talking about them, but it just seems it's gotten into the local mainstream somehow. And it's just a bit of a phenomenon that I'm not used to seeing, but I love to be able to actually be having this open conversation with our local media and on our show. So I know, well, welcome. I hope you're having a good morning, by the way, Pierre. How you feeling?
Good morning. I'm very well. I've been up for a couple of hours already, so this is my lunch break.
No way. What time do you get up? I'm just curious. Or what time did you get up this morning?
I get up at 5. I get up at 5:45.
Well, you got 15 minutes earlier than me this morning. So
okay.
Yeah, it's every morning. Well, two mornings out of the week I get up at 5 because I have to make the commute, and then every other morning I'm at 6 o'clock on the dot kind of guy.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm with you on the early mornings.
I have in my men's mastery group, we have a morning routine that you have to commit to, and we have to log in together, check in, make sure we're up, screenshot of your time. If you don't make it, you have to do 25 burpees on video and post them. Everybody trashes you. It's really fun. So I basically wake up 5:45, and then I go online. I teach yoga at 6 a.m. to a bunch of guys. So before they get their kids off to school.
What's
that's
funny?
That's my morning.
Well, that's cool. When you said if you're late or whatever, you got to do some extra things. Well, we just talked about yesterday. There was a Nova Scotia coach, volunteer coach. I think it was basketball coach. He made some of the students that were late do some extra push-ups, and he was fired for doing that.
I heard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of pushback on that. My friends in Halifax were telling me about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically he was being too mean to the poor athletes. They couldn't. They were late, so they had to do push-ups. But it's only usually it's the parents, but this time it's only the vice principal and principal who were the the idiots.
It took
So,
exception to that. Yeah.
but I think there were protests, and I think I believe the other kids on the team refused to play in a game, something like that.
Oh, so they all got together.
Yeah, the whole
And
community, like, yeah,
stood behind the
yeah,
the kids that had to do the push-ups. Interesting.
like it's not even extreme what he did. Like we've
No.
heard stories in the past. I think last year, I forget where it was, but there was one coach that was pretty over the top, like really intensive, crazy, punishments. Where they
Yep.
would have the kids, the kids who were late lined up and everybody threw, just like murder ball or something like that, with a
Yeah,
9-year-old.
Yeah.
But this is not anything
No.
like that.
No. Extra.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. It's extra exercises anyways, things that are just going to benefit you anyways and make you stronger regardless. I mean, whatever. So yeah, it's just a reflection, I think, of a segment of the society that I think has the power these days to be able to fire someone and let people, this cancel culture. So the people in charge, let's say, it seems to be this kind of virus that people have that allows them to feel they have the power. And unfortunately, they seem to do have the power to be able to just fire somebody, people that are on air for, 35 years on the most popular television show in Canada. He says one word that's misconstrued and you're fired, you're gone, And so if you can do that to a popular kind of Canadian icon, you can do that to a volunteer sports coach. There's no doubt about it. Now, Cliff is laughing because he says we get to sleep in. He gets up at 2 a.m. every morning. So, yeah, no, that's very early, and I'm glad I don't have to do that. I'm just trying to get the comments to go along with what we're talking about at the time because lots coming in. 15-minute city, which we will be talking about in a little bit. I'm not going to dump into it now because that's going to take up the whole show, and I know that. And it's fine. It's fine. It's just I want to get through some headlines and then dive in. So 15-minute city is the thing being misled, and it's now a conspiracy. Yes, for sure. I think that's what's happening as far. Yeah, and then Jason also goes on to say, which I have done. If people look it up, it's not what people are saying it is, and that is true. Yeah, you just look it up. It's funny because I looked on YouTube because everyone's saying conspiracy, and it was like, okay, one video says conspiracy, and the next video right over from it is a municipality talking about how they're going to institute a 15-minute city in their municipality. So it's like, okay, so it's conspiracy, but right next to it is a video of a municipality saying, oh yeah, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, and this is what we're going to do. So I really, anyways, people just have to on their own, but we will get to that. I know Vin is talking about, I got removed from Sudbury.com yesterday for sharing info and asking people to make their own decisions on Tyler Clark, who is the author of the story we're going to unpack this morning of the 15-minute city conspiracy article. Article has since been deleted. That's not good. I shared it on our Facebook page, so hopefully I'm able to land on it. And they did share it in their stories to talk about in the morning, so they have a little blurb about it anyways. I did read the whole thing in the entirety, so it's in my brain at least.
Where was that, sorry?
Sudbury.com. It was right on, it was the last 23 hours ago. They shared it. And it's on their stories we're going to talk about on their, they say, good morning. Here's some stories, Nickel City, we're going to talk about today. And they give kind of a rundown of the headlines. Who benefits from the extra exercises? This is back to the teacher being fired or the volunteer. So it is really a punishment, benefit by learning to be on time. No, I guess no. The society is really backwards these days. Everyone gets a trophy. That's what Randy says. That's everyone gets the ribbon or the medal. So I'm going to just already typing about the topic. Yeah, not a problem, Vin. Sudbury.com banned Jason as well. So we got Sudbury.com banning a lot of people for sharing their views. I'll only ban you.
Really?
I'll only ban somebody if they're being disrespectful to or bullying other people on the show, let's say, or whatever, and they're getting in the way of actually doing the show. I mean, if you share something, I do have something on my Facebook page, though. I don't know if you know this at all, Pierre, that Facebook allows you to do like an AI moderator. So I can say, okay, anyone who swears on my Facebook, it's not going to be allowed to go on there. So if you're swearing, just know it's not me taking it off or not allowing you to share. It's I automatically put. I don't want people swearing on my thing, and something else. I forget what I put on there. So just wanted to let everyone know that that's the only time I will block somebody, or if you're trying to sell things like in your spam, I'm going to block it.
Mm. Yeah, spam and death threats should really be the only two things that you get banned for, or yeah, like bullying and yeah.
Yep.
The rest is
okay.
open season.
All kinds of stuff going on here. Facebook jail for you, LOL. Okay, so let's go through some of the headlines we got here. I'll just share my screen. So here is the one we're talking about here. We're going to get to that. So as you can see, Sudbury.com, 15-minute city conspiracy theory reaches Sudbury. So it's not even asking, is this a conspiracy theory in the headline already? Conspiracy theory or fact is what I would put, right? If I'm going to be an unbiased journalist.
Mm-hmm.
But the headline says 15-minute city conspiracy theory reaches Sudbury. So he's already determined, this particular author of this story, that it is a conspiracy theory. The city's elected officials are pushing back against conspiracy theorists, which claim about the 15-minute city and smart cities planning concepts. So that's what we'll get back to here. Downtown Scotia building listed for sale, $6.75 million. Do you think that's a bargain?
Yeah, it's empty.
Doesn't that sound like a low price?
How much?
To you? $6.75 million for that.
It does.
It was listed for like 9.9 million prior to the something. So it says this almost 90,000 square foot building was listed last year for 9.9 million prior to Raymond Chabot Inc. taking it over from the building's insolvent owning company on November 24th, 2022. So if anyone doesn't know, any people we're talking about on the radio, we're talking about the Scotia building downtown, you know, the glass high-rise kind of thing, the mirrored building. To me, that's like 1/3 off the price. So bargain for someone.
I mean, it's odd because real estate is only worth what you're willing to pay for it.
Yep.
You know, so on one hand, houses are ridiculously priced, but a building like that, that's the financial district of Northern Ontario. Basically, that corner is officially the banking, the concentration of finance. But apparently, the building's like 80% empty.
Yeah,
and it's really hard to sell a commercial property that does not have leases,
unless you have plans for it.
And that building is close to, I think it's over 40 years old.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. That was built in.
Yep.
Okay, I was in high school. Yeah, that was built in the mid 80s. And so I'll bet it needs a complete overhaul for HVAC, for airflow,
everything.
Yeah.
The
skin of the building, I'll bet you it loses a ton of energy.
Yeah.
So it probably costs a fortune to operate. So between that and the YMCA at one at each end of the street, at the bookends of the streets, that's not good.
Yeah, she said, last week, Royal LePage, Heritage Realty, listed the property. Salesperson Cassandra Beach told Sudbury.com the building is approximately 80% vacant, like you said, aside from some heat pumps that need repair. She said the building was built in 1980 and has been fairly well maintained, which I do agree with, too. It's probably been well maintained, but at the same time, there are going to be costs. Now, this kind of brings up the whole idea then of this. We talked yesterday how Mayor Paul Lefebvre dug in his heels and he says, we are getting a new art gallery, library, regardless. I'm dedicated to bringing this thing to downtown. And it was originally going to be built right in the parking lot of the STC, Sudbury Theatre Center. But now he's open to ideas of building it, but it has to be downtown. And he didn't mention anything about taking an existing building. But the chairs of the BIA, McIsaac
Mm-hmm.
and is it Jeff McIntyre,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
said they're open to taking on an existing building and
Mm-hmm.
putting the art gallery and library in an existing building downtown. And we talked about that before, and you mentioned a possibility could have been the mall downtown,
This
right?
building.
But this
This
building
building.
could be the new library,
I mean,
art gallery.
The only. Yeah.
It's
The
a
way- the
bargain basement
loads.
price.
Although you'd have to have. Yeah. I mean, it'd be cheaper than what was the price on the other one?
They went
80
from
million?
they went from 900 like $1.5 million shy of 100 million to
Okay, so 100
65
million,
million to 65 million. They whittled it down to 65 million. So if you got this for 6.75 million, you'd have
Spend
another
20 million renovating and have a pretty spectacular prime real estate right there.
Exactly. Doesn't that look like a really nice looking building if you were to have, a library,
only-
art gallery?
The only two issues there would be the library couldn't be on the upper floors because the weight of the books.
But it has elevators
Eh.
everywhere. It has up-to-date elevators, and I think 2 or 3
No, I mean,
of them.
I mean,
Oh,
the
the
weight
weight,
of
the
the
weight,
books. Like,
the weight of
yeah,
the books.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, but the load is way too heavy for. I mean, I'm sure they would calculate that, but and
How
then
many
the other
books?
thing is the ceiling. The ceiling
Okay.
heights aren't what you'd have to blast out
1 or 2 floors.
every second. Yeah, because art galleries need you need 20,
Yeah.
20, 30-foot ceilings sometimes.
But it doesn't matter though, really. If you think of it, the building itself, you can just take that and do that with it within its walls. Like honestly, with today's construction, if they're going to build a net zero building, $100 million, it's got all these things. They were going to build that. I'm sure, for heaven's sake, they can do that same thing within that structure and still cost less than what it was proposed to cost in the first place.
Well, see what
I'm
they could
positive.
do there. 6 million. There's houses in Toronto for that. 2,000 square foot houses. What they could do with that, they could turn that into like a showcase. They could get the architecture students, look at all kinds of really cool building technology, like basically how to renovate a building for modern conditions and cold climate. Because that would be challenging, but it would be really exciting. Like you could have a thing on the roof. You could have all kinds of, imagine up here. That could be the up here headquarters.
Yes.
Just make it into an all year round cool place. You could have bars in there. You could have rooftop concerts.
It's true. 'Cause
Libraries
flat roof.
kind of, to me, the library, I just don't know. They need to reconfigure what a library is, because libraries are now a bunch of desks with computers. That's what they
Yeah.
are. They're a community center. They're important, but
Yep.
the books, I mean, we need the books, but it's not the attraction anymore. The books
No.
could be almost in the basement,
Yeah.
although actually it's a parking garage. But anyway, there's a lot of potential in that building. My architect brain is just going, wow. Like
I
look
can
at the
imagine.
architecture. Look at the architecture school. I don't know how much people know this, but that entire school is a laboratory. Like it's like, okay, so there's heavy timber construction in there. There's steel. So everything in the school is a demonstration of different building techniques and things, right?
Mhm.
And over time, you're going to be able to pull off, like on Elm Street, that kind of ugly facade. It's not really the nicest side of it. But you're going to be able to pull that off and replace that with new curtain wall technology in 20 years to show what can. So the whole building can change. It's brilliant. It's basically a skeleton.
Mm-hmm.
And these old buildings, you can, even though this is concrete, you can still do that. You can rip off all that mirror, or you can leave whatever. But
solar
you can
panels, for crying out loud. Solar panels, instead.
Yeah.
So they can have their net zero, goal that they're looking for, something like that, right? So carbon emissions.
That could be a whole demonstration project right there.
And look where it's located. I mean, the back side of it you just walk across the street and you're at the School of Architecture, for crying out
Yeah.
loud. It's great.
Yeah.
It's a great kind of partnership you could have with the School of Architecture, and that goes really well with libraries and art and all that. And then you have the Place des Arts right there as well, for crying out loud. Like it's right in the,
No,
and you got
it makes sense.
great location,
Yeah.
you know? So anyways, I hope they're looking at something like that. We have so many comments, guys, and I'm not sure if I can share. I'm going to try to go through. I know there's been some people, okay, turn it into a crisis center. So that's one idea too, right? Because of the homeless situation we have, there's all kinds of things to do there. So 4 million in upgrades. Now people are working from, oh yeah, that's right. So the people working from home thing is affecting the rate of the sale of it. There's no doubt about it. Downtown high rises, unless they're condos, I mean, people can't even think of what to do with them to make money off them. A building is a giant money pit. If the private sector can't turn a profit on it, imagine how much the taxpayers will have to shoulder to run it. Exactly. They should be thinking of that. Like, and if you have Scotiabank continuing to be a tenant, at least on the main floor, at least there you at least have some revenue coming in. And if you can partner with them to some extent, you know, call it the Scotiabank Arts Center or something like that. Like, what the heck? Nothing wrong with partnering with private sector to make things profitable. Yes, remodeling is cheaper than building from scratch. There's no doubt about it. An art gallery, this is Lee, an art gallery appeals only to the upper class who can afford to go to these places, probably for their wine and cheese parties to fundraise for different things or whatever. We are living in times where regular Joes just can't afford to go to the grocery store, let alone a library, but to think, time to think and get with the times. That's Lee. Terranium?
Well,
Is that the word?
Here's a pro tip. For those of you who don't know, when you go to an art gallery opening, there's free food and wine. So
That's right.
I used to do that in Toronto all the time. Thursdays is the night, and you just hop from place to place, and you know that one has really good. Some places just have really good food. You can just go and eat. They don't check you. You just walk in and eat. You just look at the art and nibble, and you go to the next one. So if you're ever hungry, just go to an art opening.
Yeah. So Vince, they turn it into a terrarium. Is that a word? A terrarium or terranium? Terrarium. And that's like he says in Japan, they're actually growing an algae that produces energy. So many options. Yeah, you can put that on the roof or something, you know what I'm saying? Like, or whatever. There's all kinds of really cool things we can do. And I like this. Okay, if we're forward thinking we're a progressive city, let's be progressive, but in the right way. Let's not be progressive in this firing a school teacher for making people do exercises kind of progressive. Like there's that kind of progressive, and then there's really cool things to do progressive. Let's be on the really cool side. That's what I'm hoping for. We just have to kind of work it out with the people that are on the side of canceling everybody because they don't believe in their ideology, let alone we all got to live in the city. So there's cool aspects to that as well. So moving on, snowcross action at Sudbury Downs this weekend. Sudbury Pro snowcross races run all day, Saturday and Sunday. I love seeing those snowmobile races and stuff. It's just really cool.
Fun.
And the sound of them zinging around and whatever. And it's perfect venue for that, right? The old horse racing track kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, okay. So,
that's
okay. I'm getting reminders for my dental appointment on Friday. Sorry. Liberal MP accused of getting help from China skipped House votes concerning Beijing. So what is okay? So there's this whole MP that got help from China supposedly for his campaign, and is now an MP, and the Trudeau doesn't really seem to want to look into this. Are you familiar with this story?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that's just that's the first one. It's just kind of ironic that it's funny that he his only reaction so far has been to ban TikTok from government employee phones. And remember Donald Trump tried to ban TikTok because it is the worst app in existence, right? For phishing and spying on your taking your data and stuff.
Well, that's
And
what it was designed
it's directly
for.
owned by it's
China.
owned by the Chinese Communist Party. Like you should not be on TikTok, people. Do not.
No.
If your kids are on TikTok, no.
Yeah.
Get off there. But that's his first reaction. That's just his brain, you know?
Yeah.
And then he says, "Oh, I'm not going to let CSIS dictate who can run for politics." It's like, oh, okay. So you're basically saying it's all right that we have a CCP asset in a cabinet. So we have World Economic Forum at one end with Mr. Klaus.
Yep.
And then we have China and really, I don't know.
Yep.
It's just the optics are so terrible. That guy should just step down automatically and just say, I will resign, step down until this is cleared up. That's what you're supposed to do. They're so arrogant and entitled that they have no self-awareness. They don't even realize that this is the biggest, and everything bounces off Trudeau. He'll get through this. He's not going to resign. Sure. Nothing's going to happen.
And what I'm going to do
is they're just going to turn it into, oh, you're a bunch of conspiracy theory people. That's what they say.
Yeah, exactly.
But then they finger point at other countries. The most recent example is the States. About Russia. But you can do it over there. But as soon as you're accused of it, it's not. It's a conspiracy.
Yep, for sure. We have tons of comments coming up on this, and so I'm just going to share them on the screen. Mm-hmm. Sorry for those on the radio. It's just there's just too much, and I want to. If you go on there's on our page, I shared a Sudbury Star article that's Lily from the Sun. He's a reporter, and he does a video on this, and you need to go watch it, guys. It is so good. He really breaks down this whole thing, and he gives the facts on it, and then he gives Trudeau what he's done so far on all of this. And you really need to watch that video.
Where is that?
I shared it on my Sudbury News Facebook page. It's a Sudbury Star article, but it'll say Lily ... and then is Trudeau doing whatever. And then there's a video. Brian Lilly, I believe, is his name.
Yeah.
So
Toronto Sun. Yeah.
Toronto Sun. Yeah. And he does a really good story on that. He really shows how Trudeau, he's really blocking this at every stage of finding out anything, because they believe that the elections themselves, not only for this one MP, but the elections themselves were meddled with by the Chinese government in terms of getting Trudeau in. So why would he want to take out this MP? He goes, he's doing a great job. And then he uses the race card. He says, you're racist to the media if you're going to look into this.
That was hilarious. It was just the most classic, ridiculous response.
Yeah.
Just no self-awareness. That's it. Like he probably really believes that. That's the terrifying part of it.
Yeah.
There's no logical thinking in that person's brain. He's just
Tell us how you really feel about Pierre Trudeau. Pierre.
Pierre Trudeau. I can't listen to him anymore.
Justin Trudeau. I keep saying Pierre Trudeau because you're on the show. Your name's Pierre, and his dad was Pierre.
Pierre had a brain. At least his father had a brain. I don't know what happened to him.
All right. So Sudbury judge has granted Troy Crowder, a former NHL hockey player, a 30-day extension to appeal his recent fraud conviction. The Troy Crowder, former NHLer, Sudbury political candidate to appeal fraud conviction. So for more on that is from CTV Northern Ontario. You can check that out. And then the Stephen Wright trial continues. I guess his real name is Robert Stephen Wright, but he goes by Stephen Wright. In the Renee Sweeney case, the first person charged with the murder of the Renee Sweeney was put in the spotlight because they did originally arrest someone else in that murder investigation. There were police officers that testified yesterday of what they encountered, and when they arrested the other individual, they saw someone running from the store in which Renee was murdered, and they also found a bloody jacket in between a tree somewhere. Evidence I forgot about, actually. but I remember that now. So you would think with all the DNA evidence in this case, it should be an open and shut case. You would hope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like whose jacket did it fit him at the
I don't
time?
know.
Like whose jacket was it? You know, like can they find out where this jacket was bought? You know, I love watching these murder shows, like these true crime shows. Like for some reason, I just find them fascinating. But I find a lot of the people, possibly in the States, they investigate a little bit more. They put a little bit more into their murder investigations than we do in Canada. I find, or at least Sudbury, I find a lot of times someone's found dead in a ditch somewhere, and they're like, "Oh, no suspicious activity." We assume no suspicious activity. It's like, really? Right off the bat, you assume? Like, how did you get to that conclusion right off the bat? It's like you didn't really look into it much.
A terrible drinking accident. Yeah.
Exactly. Anyways, so hopefully, I think the police are trying to get a unit that's just going to be homicide alone and look into these things, which I think we probably need here in the city. So we're going to be talking more and more about that. Okay, so and again, there's another article that talks about they're blaming the all the cardiac deaths that are coming at an unprecedented rate on COVID-19 itself and not on the vaccination. So a lot of people are saying the vaccines are causing cardio problems.
No.
And there's a report out here that you can read about, and you can yay or nay it, that is saying it's COVID that's causing all these heart problems, not the vaccines. So I think there's a simple solution to that, Pierre, and just say, well, how many of these people did not get the vaccine? That's a real easy way to do a science experiment, right? Okay, people who didn't get the vaccine, obviously it wouldn't be the vaccine that's causing it. And did they get heart problems just like the vaccinated? You'd have to do a study in that way to determine that. But anyways, yeah, it's a huge topic.
Interesting how this respiratory illness is suddenly turning into a heart illness.
Yeah.
Funny how that happens.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know. I disagree with both of those. I think it's climate change is causing this. It's too hot and people's hearts inflate. I was shoveling snow yesterday, and I was thinking of that. Yeah, that's what's causing it.
Okay, so now for the deep dive of the day. Everyone's looking forward to it. Sudbury.com is reporting the conspiracy theory of the 15-minute city. Fueled by misinformation, local conspiracy theorists have expanded their scope beyond the COVID-19 pandemic and focused on another convoluted web of misinformation. During a town hall meeting in Azilda earlier this month, a handful of people aggressively asked, I always love the adjectives that reporters put because that tells you, you look at the adjectives, it tells you the spin of the reporter usually.
Aggressively, yeah.
Yeah, the so-called freedom movement, like, so there's the, the adjective, so-called discredits, it automatically discredits anything. So the aggressively asked Mayor Paul Lefebvre about the 15-minute city concept, jeered and talked over responses. They claimed Lefebvre signed up for it, but the mayor said he hadn't heard of it. Can you believe that? Can you believe Paul Lefebvre has not heard of 15-minute cities? Just yes or no?
I've been reading about this for a year.
Yeah.
Actually, no. I've been reading about this for 7 years because this comes out of the smart city movement, which you may know about. So here's a conspiracy. Google was doing the sidewalk project in Toronto, which was an entire huge urban development, like 2 kilometers long along the water. Google was going to design this entire development. My friend's an urban planner, so I know a lot about it. Toronto abruptly cut ties with Google over privacy issues in their design. Remember the lighting thing that I sent to you the other day?
Yeah, no, and that's what then I said, you got to come on the show and we got to talk about this topic. So yes.
The idea is, so it starts with the Internet of Things. Okay, so this coffee cup, your phone, your car, your dog, everything will be interneted.
Connected.
The sidewalk, the lights on the sidewalk are all video as well as biometric sensors. Okay, so just like they have in China now, but this is next level.
Mhm.
So the smart city essentially is a three-dimensional digitized hive of human behavior.
Collecting
So
all the data on our behavior. Correct.
Google would be able to, and I'm not exact, this is not a conspiracy, this is fact. I can get the documents if you would actually like to read them.
Sure.
Google you could log on and say, what is the mood of these pedestrians right now walking to work? Oh, well, heartbeat's this. They didn't eat that. They've been on Facebook. You can create a complete data picture to the minute of a population in public surveilled. And Google was going to own this data. And finally, the city of Toronto, which is not exactly,
they're pretty progressive. They're pretty
city,
progressive. Yeah, exactly.
even they went, whoa, this is nuts. And they literally abruptly told Google to go to hell and shelved it.
Yep.
15-minute city is a revamping of that, couched in climate change. So imagine in Sudbury, if you could only go 15 minutes in every direction from where you live right now, in winter, on your bicycle. That's the plan.
That's what Paul Lefebvre's argument was. He said Sudbury would never work with a 15-minute city. He said he never heard of it, first of all. And then he said, well, and that idea wouldn't even work here because we're so whatever. But I've heard the idea is part of urban planning too, where they will force you into these zones. It's not a matter of the way it is now. It's not like 15-minute cities is going to fit how you look now. It's like they're going to make you fit in the 15-minute city, right? Am I right on that or not?
Yes. Let's take Isilda as an example, because I do a lot of walks in Isilda, and just for a change, and I go to the doghouse. I like that, walking through that little town. It could so theoretically it could work, because it's contained, it's isolated. So imagine if you were part of the empire, okay? So you could pass a rule in some way if you were the dictator. Everyone who lives in Isilda has to work and play and do everything in Isilda. Okay, so you wall it in some way, you control it. Everyone has to work remotely.
And it just has to be a digital wall. It just has to, if these are smart cities, it's a digital wall. You don't have a bank account. That's what I mean.
Your bank card doesn't work.
You don't have a bank account as soon as you go out of those boundaries, so you're never going to leave it. Yeah,
it's an open air paradise, or open air prison, depending how you look at it. Yeah. So it's the concept of right now we have walled communities where you're a wealthy person, mostly in the States. We have a few here, but when you go in a walled community, it's pretty nice. It's walled in, everyone's affluent, and it's beautiful and it's safe and all those things. That works when you're rich because you're keeping people out.
Yeah.
This is the exact same idea, only you're in a little, 12-foot room and you're eating bugs and you can't leave. But
the reason why you're saying go ahead.
What's that?
I was going to say the reason why you're saying eating bugs, because that's the new thing, right? Because there's going to be a food shortage, or they're talking about, a more sustainable way to eat is bugs, because, you don't have to raise cows and chickens, which are bad on the climate or hard on the climate. Bugs are leave a less carbon footprint. So we might as well just eat bugs. So there's a huge movement on that. We talked about that on the show.
It's presented as a climate change thing to prevent people from traveling in their cars and It's just, it's not realistic. It's just impossible. Like it can work in a small town, maybe, and it can work in quadrants of Toronto, but everyone I know who lives in Toronto travels an hour to get to work. So how are you going to get? It's just not going to happen.
So now so they're saying the conspiracy theorists in Sudbury, they're conspiracy theorists. There's no truth to this. And I just read the rest of the story here from the reporter. Forget his name now, Clark or something. Although the city, so he took a video of this apparently. Paul Lefebvre said he never heard of it. You know what it is? A Chelmsford student told him in a video captured by the city of the event. The link to the video was available, but Vin was saying they took it down off their site now. Full version of the story. Although the city's video captured the angry tone of a segment of the audience in reaction to Lefebvre's response, most of their words aren't audible. So now let's hear from a real conspiracy theorist. This is brought to us by Vin. He shared this with us. Now, many of you may recognize this guy and discount him as a conspiracy theorist. However, let's just take off your whatever bias hat and just listen to what he has to say. How about we'll just do that? And I think he talks about the Phillips thing, so that you sent me the other day, and we'll just check in with this. We'll be right back.
The news that nobody else can and nobody else will. So I got a call from a whistleblower, City of Edmonton, 15-minute cities, and they're talking about how all the lights being replaced all over the city are being replaced with smart lighting that are connected to the internet, that can listen, that can watch, and they all work together. So how did this all happen, and how's the World Economic Forum behind it? Check this out. Philips, the world leader in connected lighting as a catalyst for so-called smart cities. This tells you right here that these designed or work together with an open infrastructure to collect data about themselves, the environment, the people, and events. This data can be analyzed and shared via software platforms and mobile apps to save energy, streamline operations, like finding people they want, and make people feel safer and happier. So, what is Philips? Philips is the world leader in lighting. So how did they try to get it so we didn't know that they're using these lights? In 2018, Philips changed its name to Signify. Here's Signify's website. Signify, proudly brands of Philips. Signify is also, this is the World Economic Forum partner website. So let's go down and see what Signify is all about. Right on the World Economic Forum website, you will find Signify. And what is Signify for? Signify, formerly Philips Lighting, which they admit, is to make smart lighting and connected lighting for smart cities and the 15-minute cities. As you can see, everything's connected. Wow, it gets even better. City of Edmonton, if you think I'm lying, as of 2020 to 2022, the City of Edmonton will be changing 46,000 streetlights to LEDs. These are LEDs is a euphemism for these smart trackable lights. So they're changing 82% of these of the lights in the city, and they say it's to save greenhouse gas emissions. But in reality, we know it's about track, trace, control. And now we have further proof that the World Economic Forum not only tells our government what to do, they actually provide them the companies and the means for our enslavement. And our government is more than happy to work with them and do everything they can to try to obscure it.
Well, there you go. That's his take on it. And I don't know. He didn't sound very nutty to me. He was just sharing information.
He said it better than I could. But yeah. So there you go.
But that's you sent me the Philips website. You said basically what he was saying. You said, "Hey, AJ, you have to look at this." I said, "Yeah, I did." And then right away, we talked a little bit about it on the show. I said you'd be coming on the show to talk about it. And then Sudbury.com did the story that we just talked about these 15-minute cities. So, okay, you get the last trivia here. Do you think Paul Lefebvre has heard of 15-minute cities before he was asked in that Azilda meeting, yes or no?
No.
You don't believe he's heard of 15-minute cities? You think he's telling the truth?
I think he's a bit out of touch.
So you don't think he's known about 15-minute cities? He was an MP for the Trudeau government for that many years. He never was in one meeting where
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, he told the person in Azilda, he never heard of 15-minute cities. He doesn't even know what this person's talking about.
I don't know though. I don't think I think he's out of touch with with this stuff.
I don't know, man.
You think he's hiding something? I don't know.
I just don't think. No, I just don't think he's prepared to talk about it. I just think he's gotten word of how he's supposed to address that, so he's going to avoid it.
Yeah.
He has no talking points on it, so he's not going to go talk about it.
It could be because he works for. Yeah, he worked for the king of climate change for how many years? But it would have been okay. So climate change was a big part of his platform.
That's what I'm saying, right? He's at Cambrian College, I think today, to unveil the electric stations to charge your car, and it's a big media event with Marc Serret and Lapointe and all of them. They're all going to be there. So that's all the time we have. Unfortunately, we got to leave it there. I'm getting to be minutes behind usually. I got to do a better job of wrapping up. Pierre, thank you so much. You got to come on more and more and more. And I got something I got to run by you. So I'm going to send you a text about an opportunity coming up. So it's going to be positive. So thanks for being on the show today.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
And thanks everyone for commenting. We'll stay tuned now for Earshot Daily
Have a
on
good day,
CKLU.
everybody.
Have a great day, everyone. Stay tuned now for Earshot Daily on CKLU 96.7 FM. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. Ciao.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.